Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today I thought it would be interesting to talk about a building that actually was not constructed. This building had been canceled. Now, this building is pretty interesting because it was a pretty crazy design, and there's actually something kind of similar to it in New York that is actually under construction right now. So what I'm talking about is the Skyrise Miami. Now this was a building originally proposed as under the name Solar Universe back in 2012 in Miami. That was redesigned in 2013 and renamed Skyrise Miami. It was approved in 2014 but was eventually canceled in 2021. A small amount of construction on the site started in about 2019 to 2020 before it was canceled in 2021. Now, this was going to be a 300 meter, so about 990 foot tall observation sort of tower in the Miami, the Brickell area, or no, not in the Brickell area. I think it was in the Brickell area. No, on the shore of Biscayne Bay. So this was going to be a very big deal. It was going to be like, it was supposedly called the Eiffel Tower of Miami. It was going to be a huge tourist destination, and it was going to be bringing a ton of visitors to the city. That was kind of the original idea of this tower right here. So it was going to have a ton of attractions in it. It was going to be basically an amusement park in the sky. It was going to be a 1,000-foot amusement park. It was going to have a sky drop, a sky plunge, a sky rise, flying theater, multiple observation decks, and tons of stuff like that. So this was going to have, a drop tower probably in it. It was going to have sky plunge, which it says sky plunge and sky drop. I don't know what the difference between that is. I'm going to be honest. Obviously, I'm sure it's some sort of attraction at the top of the tower where you drop, stuff like that, right? But there is a tower in New York that actually is going to be doing a very similar thing. The Torch, I have talked about it on the channel before. I do have a video on it if you want to go check that out. That is under construction right now, actually, and that has about a 300-foot drop tower in the center of the building, and that is a super tall. So there's going to be a drop tower in the center of a building in New York in sometime in the future, which is pretty crazy. I'm gonna have to go check that out once it gets constructed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to go ride that because that is pretty absurd. But this was kind of the original sort of idea of having a building like this where it was basically built just for tourism. These might become a more popular thing in the future if the one in New York is successful. Obviously, this one never finished construction. It really never even got started. We can take a look at a few of the renderings of this. But this was going to be a pretty big deal. I mean, it was way out on the water there. It was going to be a huge attraction for the city. I mean, it was going to be basically in the center of the bay, as far out into the bay as you can get. So you would be able to see it from everywhere. It was going to be an absolutely huge deal sort of thing if it was constructed. And obviously, it never was. So this was, canceled back in 2021, of course. But yeah, so I mean, the parallels between this and the building in New York are very similar, as you can see. That's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this almost, is that this is in another way getting constructed, but in New York in a different manner. That obviously has hotel in it and other things as well. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting concept for buildings. So the one in New York is probably the only other one I've seen like this. It would not surprise me if other cities started building stuff like this. It would not surprise me if somewhere like Dubai, Las Vegas, cities like that kind of touristy style city started building a lot of these buildings. It really wouldn't surprise me at all because they are just going to be huge tourist attractions sort of buildings. Now, whether that's a good thing or not is kind of debatable, whether it's a waste of money or not, because obviously these are supposed to all be private funded, and that was the original controversy with this building. It was touted as being completely, privately funded, while at the same time the developer was asking for money from the government to get it built. So that's kind of one of the reasons this was never really built, was it had a big old controversy about that way back in like 2014, 2015 sort of time. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting building. I thought it was cool. You can see some of the original renderings here. I mean, I don't know if this is the sky drop, the sky plunge. Obviously, it was some sort of ride on the side of the building. That would be pretty wild, though. Obviously, it would have been cool if it was built. It would have been a huge tourist attraction and stuff like that. I'm sure I would have gone on it, or I'm sure I would try to probably go to it or something like that if it was built. But yeah, pretty interesting building, the Skyrise Miami. Yeah, see you guys in the next one.